Peace. I figured out what I've been messing up, and I have it correct, so you can hear me. Okay, put my email here. Okay, I will be here.
Peace.
Peace, God. I will be here until 8:30. No, no. I will be here until 8 o'clock. Okay. All right. So I've been here a while. Now that the fall season starts and school is back in, I'm back at school. So I get on here at around 6:30 or something. Okay. I was a little slow, but my daughter called me right before. My little one called me right when I got here, so I was on the phone for a little bit and building with some others. So um, as soon as we start is now. Whatever questions you may have, builds you may have, let's go. Let's go with them. Check that out. All right. There are some materials that I have to give out to some students. I tried to catch up and I didn't. Um, Today was just short, very short day. Trying to think. Yeah. If there's any materials that I was supposed to email to you, just send that email back at the top. I know I have a text to send that sent me an email address. And I have something else. I feel like it's in here, but again, if it's anybody, that's what I'm. See, the God just texted me right now. Yeah, yeah. I did remember. I did remember the God's books. He's texting now, not to forget. I did remember. I just didn't have enough time to do it. Um, I had about 2 hours. I only had about 2 hours to write. I figured I could write, and then I figured I could write and then send the emails out. But by the time I finished writing, I had to leave. So I haven't been back on the laptop since. Okay.
What's okay?
Rome Fatty, peace. Any questions that anyone has? Let me know. Let me know. Today's wisdom equality. Right. So, you know, how do we build on that? Right? Right? How do we see our way in full balance? in proper position. Okay. Again, like I said, there's only 3 months left, so this month is pretty much over at its end point. Everything counts. So I don't want to say words like over. I don't like saying that. Even the end of a month can be a great catapult into the next month, but it's very important that we start seeing how much control. So survey, how much control do you really have over what you were doing, what you were building, your training, your diet, your reading and studying, and what you absorb, what you are learning from, what you are engaging with in the arts, etc. That all counts. You should know what you're doing. How you communicate. What are you writing? What do you write? Do you create things? How do you create? What forms do you speak? What ciphers do you speak in? Right? All of these things are things that we need to be on it. We need to be on it. And now this last 3 months, I want to continue to speak about really enforcing that, really developing that, and honing that. All right. So, any questions anyone has? Born Rahim Allah. Peace, God. Peace. Okay, let's see. Letting people know. Most of it is now that I've been writing lately has been hip hop stuff. But I will be writing about all types of things. So subscribe to the Substack. There are some things that you'll have to pay for to see, but the majority of the stuff that I'm going to put out there is really just for everyone to read. So when the things will be of some use, and some of these old articles I wrote, and plus lessons, builds that I, when I have time to do the stuff that I find useful, or just other insightful things, I'll be sharing it. So I've been adding on to it lately because we're not. I'm not doing. Me and my man Paragon are not doing PremierHipHop.com anymore. So those articles will all find a home on the Substack. The major ones, and be throwing them out, and I'm gonna put some more stuff in there. Okay. I also want to have some posts where I just put some materials, tools, research tools, information, things like that. You know? Okay. Again, let me know your questions. I'm going to be here for till only until 8 o'clock. I'm trying. My goal is to get here to be here from 6:30 to 8 o'clock during school time. All right. Um, so that's when I'll be on. So let me know. Let me know how you use wisdom equality. What is wisdom equality? How does that equate, relate, connect to zigzag zig, right? Which is knowledge, wisdom, understanding. It's a question. Let me know. Okay. Let me know what you need working. What do people need? Um,
She ain't agreeing. I mean, she ain't telling you everything. Oh, pardon me, God, peace.
Peace, God.
How you doing, Black?
Everything's peace, God.
I ain't even know you said. Everything good?
Indeed, God. LT, you said peace. What did you think about the interview when Grandmaster D said Rakim started praying on the airplane? You know, I didn't see that. I didn't see that interview or anything like that. You know, like I said, I see Rakim as someone that has this knowledge of self, but they were never under the study, so that this concepts, sometimes the basic concepts aren't really either understood or even embraced totally. You know, who's to say? Is it their choice or not? You know, they influenced, and they you know, the major teaching, our major teaching doesn't start with the black man is God. Our major teaching starts with there is no mystery God. There's no mysterious being, energy, or force. I never start with who. I start with who is not, because they already have an idea about it. Peace to Indigo. Peace, Queen. Um, he said the way he said it was kind of funny. He even started giggling a little bit. Yeah, I would imagine if he saw that and he knows what a actual 5% doesn't deal with any kind of mystery. Yeah, it's kind of funny. But at the same time, though, I take it all as wisdom knowledge. I take it all as stuff that I don't know. I don't know. You know, what if he was like in some kind of meditation or something like that, or like he had some reasoning behind it, and you just felt like I'm riffing because this is not what I do, but like I do meditate. You know, I do meditate, and I don't meditate on things. I just meditate the proper way. I work on letting everything go, um, which is very difficult for me. Very difficult for me. You know what I mean? Most of my meditation that is successful is in a moving state. You know, when I'm training, you know, like forms of Tai Chi Chuan, stuff like that. But in a sitting still position, I work on that, you know, a lot. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you know, yeah, Indigo, yeah, meditation is definitely different. But I'm saying, like, I don't know what he sees it. Like, what if what you saw was really him meditating or not? Or I don't know. All I know is I wasn't there, so I don't know. You know, I go with my disagreement with Rakim is I go with the book, very sincerely written. Um, the thing about Rakim's autobiography is that it shows his genius, but it also shows that he did all this without an enlightener, without an educator, without an elder to take him through it, and he felt that that was the best way. He didn't want to be indoctrinated by anyone. Sometimes when you go into the study of something, you can't just say, I'm going to study this, but then I'm going to learn it by myself. You have to go through, to me, you have to go through the effort to find out who's validated. It's why when people walk into my classroom, I say the first thing that you need to do if you never do anything in your life and you never come back to my classroom is to um, learn to validate who it is that's teaching you. And then that extends to every single cipher of learning that you engage, because not every single cipher is with an individual. You know what I mean? It could be with somebody else. It could be, lecture online. It could be book materials, etc., right? So, but certain things like this knowledge stuff, you need someone to guide you through it. You know, you can't just step into that shit like that. And they pay the price. They pay the price. They say things wrong. They interpret things wrong. And I don't want to be the one to make fun of someone that has so much genius to teach it so well that so many people became actual chewing living 5%ers, right? People that actually respect this knowledge of self in this nation because of what they hear and how they revere his work. And then because he didn't live it out exactly the way that we do, because he didn't really learn it from. He can't live out the way that I lived it out. He didn't learn it from the elders. I learned it. I learned it with the elders. There's no way he could learn it the way I learned it. Right? Anyway, so yeah, I didn't see that interview, but when I research, Indigo will get this, but I'm not. I enjoy Rakim. I enjoy somewhat LL, somewhat. I enjoy Common and Pete Rock and all of them, but I'm not shooting for those interviews. I don't really care. I think that they're already in general, they could all use a great interview, right? Like Indigo has with Pete Rock, but in general, they already have become articulate, and so they don't need insightful details about things to share. If I generalize, it's really the artist I enjoy that's going to be great that I find, and really showing the expansiveness of this universe. So I don't really spend time, like I don't watch too many interviews of legends, even though I enjoy Rakim album comes out, I listen to it, I write about it. Nas, of course. But even if I could shoot and get these guys, I really, it's not really what I want, so stuff like that, it just totally passes me by, totally passes me by, you know. I remind everyone that we all information, political, musical, entertainment, any type of news, history, we're dealing with sound bites, and we have to get off the precedence that we put on a sound bite that we see. Absolutely have to get off that. It impairs research. It impairs historical truths. It simplifies our realities in its gross incompleteness. It's just wild with what I see. And I saw it the most, and I talked about it, and people like, oh, we're not supposed to talk about hip hop. That's only trolls to say that. I talk about everything in my class, the science of everything in life, especially the fields that I am engaged in. But Peace to Mr. Cow. Um, it was very interesting that people that are absolutely 100% unverifiable. In fact, they've been verified, like in so many things. And people are telling me what they said. Wow, I've got verification. You know what I mean? Um, it was the equivalent in this hip hop thing when people were saying that Puerto Ricans and the origins of this stuff, and people listening to other idiots that have no bearing and have no research and have no history doing any of this. Um, it just shows that like this is what shows. Like this is what shows when you didn't do the work. The student has to do the work of finding a teacher. You are not a student if you don't do that work. You are not a teacher if you don't do the work to find out what is in a student to learn, how a student learns, and ever finding out what is in the minds of the average student. You're wasting your time. You were just orating what you would like to orate. Even what I'm saying now is stuff from what I've seen, what I'm studying, what I am noticing of all age groups. You know what I mean? Like I'm in contact with age groups in my work and in my daily life and in my hip hop career. Age groups all the way from 6 and 7 onward to adult. We always have to keep in pace or not speak about it. But I think that what I see in the social media, people don't know how to verify who it is that they are learning from and place it under there. Like a lot of times I'll see a meme that verifies something I have said. I save it for later. I don't be like, oh, this going in a story. Boom. I mean, let's say like with this origin and hip hop stuff, when Crazy Legs says certain things, I threw that immediately in a story. I built with Crazy Legs. I've got pictures from my first times when I was around Crazy Legs, listening to him, seeing what he does, right? The first time I built with Crazy Legs, he was teaching b-boying in I forgot where in Pelon. Hunts Point. Hunts Point. And a very big place that they have made into a rec center. And he was teaching b-boy classes, and I was there to interview Tats crew, particularly because it's a big crew, graffiti crew, Bio, Nicer, and BG 183rd. I gotta find that archive and republish that because it was one of my early and greatest interviews. But 1996, and while I was waiting for them, I was asking Crazy Legs questions about what he was doing. So I know people that have been in the community, people that have shown improvement in the community, and people that never left. You know, so who it is that you learn from, who it is that is teaching you. We have to be very careful. And like I said, this presidential election, keep following, keep seeing. You know what I mean? You're out here going, no, there's only one candidate to choose, two candidates to choose from. I'm gonna go with Trump and put my chips with him because he's the rebel and he'll do something different. Good call, right? Can I say that as sardonic as possible?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Sheesh. All right, okay. Yeah, LT. Yeah, he doesn't. He said in the book that Rakim said in his autobiography that he states to himself, "I'm amazed at how strong he had it, but it's in the small details of walking with someone and them noticing, like, yo, you know that you just talked about a mystery god. You're kind of referring to a mystery god. Oh, you know, just have someone there to have you notice." When you're dealing with mystery in certain occasions. Right? Peace to the earth, wisdom, infinite earth, peace. You said wisdom equality is showing your ability to build equally in every aspect of your life, productively adding on to yourself and your cipher. That's near perfect. I would only change the word equally there. I wouldn't use equally, just so not to repeat that. You know, whether you maybe say the build in balance and proportion, like something, you don't want to use the word equal in the definition, in the build. But this building is in balance, right? Wisdom equality is about speaking in this type of balance where people are able to, in your speech, identify your knowledge, identify the ways that you behave, your behavior, and identify the insight that is yours and yet is not part of that information, that is knowledge. This is especially key when we're building wisdom equality born build. So it's very important, very important. Clemente, peace. Jeweler TV said peace. Shout out to Brim Tat, the original present Tat. Peace. That's peace. Yeah, that's good information there. You know what I mean? Those are all just my favorite. I'm biased because of the way that they were in the beginning of my career, but they are, to me, they're my top favorite graffiti crew. You know, when Amadou Diallo, Anthony Baez was killed, and there was marches, they were marching with us. You know, from the Bronx all the way to City Hall, they were there marching with us. You know, taking the lead, taking the lead. You know, and like I said, I'm just going to different things. If you've never voted for a president, take the time. Take the time to do it. See how it goes. See the whole process of things. Anything that you want to dismantle, you want to see the whole process. You know, and you don't have to vote for Trump or Kamala. Okay, you don't have to vote for Harris or Trump. Okay, being as how that those are just corporate selections, right? The Green Party has candidates. Jill Stein is capable, and the running mate Butch Ware is drops a lot of jewels. You know what I mean? A lot of jewels. You know, um, a Muslim brother with a very I'm gonna say classical, almost retro Black Power perspective. That is refreshing. You know what I mean? And I say that because people, even when they speak, feel this way and build this way. They have it in a different type of speech. Even myself, when I build, I'm clearly Black Power, and that mentality is a very real thing. But my speech is very different. It doesn't have that retro dialect. You know what I mean? It has my self-styled wisdom. You know, but look up the Green Party. Look up the history. People that have done very good things. You know what I mean? And don't go with the thing like if you vote for a Green Party candidate or a third party in this case that you're taking away a vote or helping someone else win. That's bull. That's a lot of bull. You know that the only reason that you vote is to send a message about what you really truly think. Now, if you vote for a candidate that you know is a piece of shit but a less piece of shit, you're telling people and you're sending a message that you are about lesser pieces of shit, or this is the way that you are better fooled. You know what I mean? What's the difference? You know what I mean? So, when you vote for a third party, enough people vote for a third party, they're sending a message that these other parties are unacceptable. And if we're using voting as a tool, that's a more powerful message and use of the tool than just picking something that you know is absolutely horrendous. If you're out here thinking because she's a woman that you're guaranteed to fix reproductive rights, think again. If you're thinking that she's not more than just the prosecuting cop, think again. Okay? Even if you really study her history, you'll find that they wanted her on the ballot immediately. She's been a tool for a long time, and she just wasn't popular enough to get there. Anyway, if anybody has any wants me to talk further on any of these things, politics or anything like that, I was mentioning some independent quality resources for politics. You know, looking at it from a distance and not from a ball team perspective. You know, whether you're on the MSNBC liberal, neoliberal, because it's not liberal, ball team, corporate ball team. And now when you're there, now you can't criticize big pharma. You can't criticize corporate realities. You can't criticize any of that. So all of that is something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was supposed to come to my rest last night, but he didn't. He got caught up wherever he was at, and he said he's gonna be here for the parliament though. Yeah. I was trying to get him to come to my rest last night, but he got caught up doing what he was doing. So, because me and Dog Kim was at my rest messing with the NPC. Yeah, we was in there messing around, son. We was in there messing around.
All right.
I'm alright, man. All right.
I didn't really care if it's an inconvenience for me, but if I vote, it's not for Kamala or Trump. Absolutely not. It's gonna be Green Party. You know, I didn't want Trump in to be last election, and I was very upset, and I went and voted. I just was annoyed at what he does socially, like how he handles his presidency as a social reality. Not saying that his reality is different from other realities, you know. But I I if I've when I've actually voted, I put in somebody else. You know what I mean? I think I wrote in somebody, and I forgot who I wrote in. I just picked somebody honorable. You know what I mean? And I just wrote in a candidate. Like I just wanted to achieve the goal and vote because I've only voted. I voted for mayor, I think, or city council or something. Long time ago. Long time ago. This is like I'm gonna tell you when I voted. I voted I must have voted when I was like 19, 20 years old. Yeah, yeah. But I never did a presidential election until the last one. But I didn't vote for Biden. You know what I mean? Um, but I didn't want Trump to be in there. You know? If I vote now, it would be for Green Party, Jill Stein. You know what I mean? Actually, I think there was a Green Party. Let me see. Let me review because I'm not sure if I voted Green Party in 2020. But if I vote, it's definitely going to be. Yeah. If I vote, it's going to be for Jill Stein and Butch Ware. You know, they had a really very illuminating interview when they were on the Breakfast Club, and you could see Angela Rye, who was there, and really trying to attack them and not letting, giving them a platform and making it all about wins and stuff. And it's like, if you're a third party, you know that you're not in there to say that we're guaranteed to win or we just need one more to win. No, it's about most importantly exposing the two parties and developing a base. They can't develop a base that is different from the Democrat or Republican parties, though, honestly, if we keep voting for them. If we keep voting for them, then all we do is continue to supplement them. You know, if you say, listen, I hate all the Democrats, but I can't let the Republicans win, I get that. But then when you vote for the Democrat, though, you've done nothing, because all you've done is vote for a different corporatization. And the blue dog Democrats have been more devastating and more lethal to imperialism in this century than the Republicans have. And that's why I think, Butch Ware had described what I had said for many, many times here. We can go back and you can see I've said this for years, right? But I said that, the Republicans, they attack policy inside: abortion. They attack school systems, take out the books, take out Black history, et cetera, right? Racism, they're more racist, actively racist, things like that. But while all this is happening, the Democrats are hugging us and telling us we're going to make it better. While the only social realities that they really advocate are really with LGBTQ and excessively advocating and sexualizing children at their worst, at their most extreme. And most of the policy was out where the real money is, imperialism. And that took a bad turn when it finally ended up what? When it finally ended up that, the vaccine mandates came out, right? And Big Pharma made billions off this, billions off a product that you have to use. You watch commercials now. I give the example of Skyrizi medications. They say if you're taking vaccines, make sure you don't take Skyrizi. Talk to your doctor first. Why? Because you can't mix vaccines with things. You can't. Not everyone can even use them if they want to. But what was the speech though when these vaccines came out, which weren't really vaccines though? They were altered in a different way, right? They immediately went after, you know what I mean? Went after. I got you, self-magnetic. Yeah, we'll figure it out, God. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I think if you haven't voted, you should vote. But I don't think you should vote for Republican or Democrat. I think we need to start making statements that these candidates are devils, and that's not the process. And the major reason to vote is really just to see the system. I don't have any confidence that voting is the powerful tool that people say it is. I have never felt that way. Never felt that way. Democracy is a Greek concept, where you have a majority ruling, and the majority ruling can be based on oppressive and oppressive means, and also influence that is very negative. And they influence the majority. The majority becomes the majority by an influence. So this isn't always good. I'm reading a book that my elder Savior Knowledge gave me, and it talks about the Twa people, the original first peoples of this earth, the original man. What Europeans call the pygmies, and their systems of government and societal, law was totally different, and it wasn't really, the democracy like that. if we're a minority in population, then that means a Democratic vote doesn't really help us ever, right? Just think about that. I think they do. I think they do determine elections. I think vote in that case they do. Votes do determine elections on many respects, though. As far as the presidential election, not so much. You know what I mean? Not so much because it's about the electoral votes, and that's a scam in itself. I mean, that's so clever. It's bullshit. You know. And it's just I remember growing up with my father and him being really anti-Republican and knowing the devilishment of Reagan and really breaking it down to me, you know. Um, and then, but also him having to justify how this is all important, even though the electoral vote, like him explaining that was just like, this is bullshit. Like, it's totally a farce. You know what I mean? But we're doing it to send messages to see where the power is, though. You know, more people vote, and let's say vote against both Democrat and Republican, the more that there is proof of a contingency, you know, that is valuable. You know what I mean? But this can't be coupled with a life though where you're not doing anything. Our activism as 5% is just to go out there and build. Bring awareness though. In other places, if you're not building something in this is a youth center. This is a youth center. You know what I mean? We're working to build programs here, you know what I'm saying? Even when there's no one here though, we keep the doors open. So I have the doors open here, but you know how many times I stay here and while the doors are open and you know, so there has to be people bringing awareness. If you find building in a youth center near your neighborhood, they're doing good things, you do it. But we have to be in the community doing something. You know? This is important. We have to be doing something, you know? You know, my work ended up being different because I'm here at the school all the time. And then when I'm not at the school, my work puts me out there in many different ciphers of communal ciphers because I end up in being in the arts world and in the, you know, in the hip hop world and all these things. And that takes me to different communities. And artists are usually, when you're around artists though, that are really good, the ones that say more are the ones that do more. So you end up linked up with other community builders. But it's important that we find a way to tap into that, especially if you're watching this and you do an analysis class and you're of a younger age. If you're of an older age and you have children, or just like, yo, man, I have time on my hands. I could get this in and have something, you know, like do something, you know, even if it starts out where you're just giving out a turkey on Thanksgiving. It's good, you know, or you going out in the community and checking on the kids, you know, what if you just, when it starts to get late though, you get a couple of guys and you say, listen, we're going to see that this block is safe during Halloween. The block I live on is going to be safe for Halloween, you know? I mean, this stuff that I don't really have to do, man. I'm living in a very very old neighborhood, very old people. You know what I'm saying? So that type of drama isn't really a thing. But what if you did that? We say, listen, I want these kids to be safe. Let's get some of the guys, my brothers here, some of the other brothers I know. Make sure this. At least we start with this type of activism. Look, let's see that this block that we live on is 100% safe for all the children that come trick or treating. That's a wonderful thing because you get experience though with that one day, but then you're like, I could do this. You know, I could do something meaningful. I just gotta go find where I could do it. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing. You know, so yeah, definitely. You know, think about that. You know. All right. But for me, yeah, I'm definitely. I probably will vote, but it's definitely not gonna. It absolutely would not be Trump or Kamala. Absolutely not. No way in hell. No way I vote for corporate shills. Or Cobra Commander like rebels. No. you know, they're both disaster. They're going to be disasters for us. And the truth is, we do have to prepare for one of them being president. But if I'm going to go there and vote and just take my opportunity and my right, it's going to be the Green Party. You know. But yeah, check out that Breakfast Club interview with Jill Stein and Butch Ware. Yeah, yeah, that was very interesting. Very interesting. You know. And some of these people that are Green Party candidates over the years, they've been very famous and unknown, and yet should be famous for what they've done, like Ralph Nader. Um, People don't know about him. Hey, Jax, you said Eric B for president. Listen, if you go vote and you write Eric B in there, I salute you. As long as you don't. But I think it sends for me. I think it sends a distinct message because the Green Party is against this warmongering. Look at Kamala. She's talking all this stuff, but when she says we're going to have the strongest military in the world, why does America have to declare that with their new incoming presidency, they're going to have the best military in the world? Like, we're killing everything in sight. This country kills everything in sight. Like, that's a ditto declaration. Why does it have to be declared? It's a way of saying we're going to continue to bomb Gaza until all those original people are destroyed, and that we have a base in the Horn of Africa, and we will continue to look at everything through Israel. It's devilishment. And it was devilishment even when someone that did great things with the children, like RFK with the Children's Defense Fund, and was very anti-vaccine, wrote an incredible book exposing Fauci and this whole COVID vaccine fraud. And yet he was for that as well. And you see how the grafted man, they make emotional decisions though. And since they were shunned by the Democratic Party, the Democratic Party has been cheating and doing as much as the Republican Party of the 2000 elections and the Bush and Bush Jr. elections as anyone else, right? The Hunter Biden laptop, that was a real thing, right? Hillary emails, that was a real thing, So these things were kept away from the public. A lot of power they wield, and I think that the Democratic Party is a more potent evil today than the Republicans. Republicans just sound their horn a lot, inward to us. We don't want this in school. We don't want that in school. No black stuff in school. This and that, but. But yeah. Again, I'm going to be here until 8 o'clock. Anybody have any questions, let me know. If not, email me, Sunez97. I will build with you. There are some emails, I will get to. There's two brothers that emailed me. That I know two of them. Now I'm remembering. And I'll get to that. I'll get to that this weekend, emails and stuff. If you're not reading. Peace to God. What's the science guy?
How you doing?
All right.
Hey.
Building with the class now.
Peace to the community.
Indeed, guy.
What y'all building on here?
You know what? They were asking me if I vote, if I vote, who would I vote for? And of course, I said I wouldn't. I wasn't gonna vote because I didn't know if there was a third party. I'm absolutely not voting Democrat or Republican. They're both shills.
It's choosing between two evils.
Yeah. If people don't see that, they're not looking properly. But the Green Party candidates are pretty good, you know. So if I vote, which I probably will, I vote for Green Party. You know, they got a brother on the bill, Jill Stein, and his brother Butch Ware, who's really has some good builds. You know what I mean? So I like what he's saying, and they're not for war. They're not for this war in Gaza. They're not for the war in that everybody's forgetting about. You know what I'm saying? You know, these wars have ruined this economy. You know, and people want to forget about them. You know what I'm saying? Right? These wars out in Russia, we've made Russia become bigger by going to war. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Peace, man.
Peace to the God.
Hey,
Great to see you, God.
What you doing, God? Hey,
Great to
I'm
see
gonna be you gonna be in next Thursday?
Of course.
All right. Today I had a lot of errands to do. I still got some more errands.
Indeed, God.
But next week I'll make sure.
That's peace, God. You build, God. Right? And the war I'm talking about is the Ukraine war. That whole war started because Ukraine was said you were too close to us. Russia was saying you're too close to us. Do not go with NATO, and there will be no war. And they tried to find a peaceful way. They went with NATO, which is one of the most devilish allegiances of neoliberal and neocolonialism, neoliberalism and colonialism, neocolonialism, because it's new type of colonialism. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna check that out. The Green Party was on Democracy Now. A lot of time, you know, Democracy Now had nothing for the vaccine. All they cared about was getting more to poor people and black and brown. So like they made it a racism issue, and it was about what the thing is. You know, what is it? What's in it? We're pumping something in someone. We don't know what it is. We're so fast to put things inside of us, we don't even know what they are. You know? But the war with Ukraine, though, was specifically ignited because of Ukraine going with NATO. And now Ukraine Russia felt uncomfortable, and as they should. And I say as they should because if the US had an ally of Russia, which now NATO, if you're in NATO, you're an ally of the US. If Russia had an ally of America, if the US had an ally of Russia very near to them, they would feel very uncomfortable and wouldn't an active ally, because when you're in NATO, you're active. And isn't that what happened years ago, right? In the 60s with the entire Cuban Missile Crisis, right? So U.S. does the same thing. U.S. has bases, military bases all over the world. Right? They continue their warmongering. When Harris said that they have no active soldiers in war anywhere on Earth, that was like the most grossest, blatant lie you could ever say. That probably is the most craziest lie to say, and Trump could proudly will say dumber lies, but none more bigger than that one. You know, so you got to look. And then she says that, but then now she's saying that this is going to be the toughest, military on the planet Earth. They're telling you what they intend to do. Imperialism all over the world. All over the world. Ukraine war happened right after the mandates. So poverty from the mandates, then the Ukraine war, right? It only strengthened Russia more. It didn't do anything for us, right? We go Democrat, that war will continue. Go Republican, who knows what continue. That's just a clown circus thing. You know, my brothers that got knowledge, if you're out here going, Trump is going to fix things, you're dealing with a mystery god. You're dealing with a mystery god. That's a clown right there. That's a clown who's being fiddled and manipulated. And he's like those kind of toys that you have. You know, when you get those toys that are remote control cars, but you don't know how to do it. So when you want to go right, you do it the wrong way. You know, he's puppeteered, but he gets puppeteered all wrong because he's hard to puppeteer.
Nah, just kidding.
Peace to the God, Malik. Again, I'm going to be here for another 20 minutes, so let me know any questions you have. But again, my thing is not just the vote, it's the activism. You need to be active, right? We need to do stuff in communities where we're at. If you don't live here, where are you? You've got to do something. This is part of having a knowledge of self, being active in the community in some kind of way. You know, you don't, let's say you go to an organization and you active in them. They're a little bit more political than you thought. They deal with politicians you think are shady. Well, then now you learn something. Now you learn something from some firsthand experience. This is what you need to be doing. In my experience, though, I dealt with stuff dealing with politicians, and I was like, never again. I'll never forget it. Never forget it. I went back to my community in Sunset Park and started to hook up because I was on a very political show on WBAI. And so I just got connected, and one of the co-hosts at that particular show that I was at is a politician today. And not this particular individual, but I ended up just doing things politically. I said, listen, if I want to change things, I should deal with all ciphers. And we're learning the knowledge of self. So we know that Allah the Father was in all the ciphers dealing with power. So I said, let me take my chance. And we're in some ciphers and stuff. And these politicians just ignored. They don't really, like they didn't look you in the eye. They, as a young person, I was in my 20s. They just thought I was like a nobody, you know. And I left it at that. I said, this taught me a lot. Like, you know, like one of the politicians, he took me out for a lunch, took me out to a nice Puerto Rican restaurant. And man, I definitely ate a meal. I said, he paying, I'm gonna eat, you know. And he was picking my brain, but it's because he was running in that neighborhood and he had no clue about the neighborhood. And so once he picked my brain, which has happened many times in my career in different levels, once they pick your brain, then you know you're no longer useful. You know, and you see where their real hearts are at. It's fiendish. It's absolutely fiendish. But anyway, I digress. So I'm not asking everybody to be political though, but you know, do something. I don't care if you give out, you know, giving candy, which is terrible, but like, you know, obviously you make sure it doesn't have at least has no pork in it. But you know, give out candy to the kids, you know what I mean? Walk the streets, make sure it's safe, you know what I mean? You know? Get some brothers, walk the streets on Halloween, you know what I mean? At least during the hours that kids are out there, you know? You don't have to walk Halloween at midnight, you know what I mean? Ain't there supposed to be no children out trick-or-treating at midnight. You know, but walk the strip, you know, walk the main strips of your neighborhood. You know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, the 8 o'clock hour, the hours that they'll trigger you. Start there, you know what I mean? Start there. Gather a couple of brothers though. Walk that neighborhood. You know? I mean, make sure it's safe for the kids. You know? Right? I'm just saying, like, there's so much that we could do, you know? And if you don't have time to do stuff, then do more, you know? Like I told you, man. Like, I keep saying, man, it's so relaxing to just like, you know, relax, eat a meal, watch something on one of these apps that are fun. You know what I'm saying? And like I told you, I got nearly every app. You know what I'm saying? I got 8 of them here. 9. 9 of them. You know what I'm saying? 9 apps. I got a little collection of some movies. You know what I mean? My own movies that I collected. Not too big. I got access to thousands of movies with my brother. But when things need to get done, I might watch. I know yesterday I probably saw. I ate. I watched something while I ate. I watched something before I went to bed. Probably saw 1 hour of television. Right? That's a good start, Jay. But the Sunny D, not good. Not good. The Sunny D. Yeah, the Sunny D is straight sugar. You know, right? Again, be careful with juice and drinks. You know, like Chappelle said, that's drink. Drink is just sugar. When you buy juices, though, be aware that you're drinking pasteurized juices. So 100% orange juice from Tropicana is pasteurized, so it's mainly sugars as well. It's a healthier sugar than Sunny D, but it's still sugars. It doesn't have the natural enzymes that the orange juice would normally have because pasteurization is a heat process. Yeah, it's a heat process that will burn all the enzymes, including the good nutrients in there. Okay? Right? It's more expensive. It's more expensive, but get them more into their water, get them more into drinking water. And when you can, the best type of drinking. Like sometimes I tell you the best. If you can't do the best, you got to know the best. You got to know what the best is. You may not be able to afford to do what's right and exact, but you got to know what's right and exact. Just because you can't do it, I'm supposed to assume that you can't do it. No, I give you the best. We work to do our best. Okay? The best type of juice is, if you're buying it in the store, is going to be cold pressed. Just like cold pressed. Let's say for like cold pressed, when you buy olive oil, it's cold pressed, which is how you buy it. The reason it's good for you is because when you cold press something, right? The machine is pressing those olives and squeezing the oil out of it. But when the temperature of the machine reaches a certain level, it shuts down. And then it cools down. So that means that those oils are only pressed under a certain temperature. It's the same thing with the juices. They are only squeezed and pressed up to a certain temperature. So you're never overheating the nutrients and ruining them. So that's what you want to do. It's more expensive. Yes, it is. But I think having a child have a cold pressed juice, let's say only on the weekends, they don't get to have no juice during the week. Just get used to water and other things. It'll do better for their health. Now you say, listen, that's extreme. They like their juice. They got to drink something flavorful. So that what do we want? What do we want here? Are we here to please the kids? Or are we here to challenge them? You know what I mean? That's peace, Malik. And remember, when you buy labels, if they are pasteurized, we will be left with the sugars. So be very wary. But it's definitely 100% juice over, even if it's pasteurized, over Sunny D. Okay? Get an orange juice. Even if you can't afford the cold pressed orange juice yet. It's not everywhere. It costs more, right? But you got to start somewhere. If the babies are the best part, then we have to know what the best thing is for them. Okay? We have to know. Yeah, it's very important. Very important. Right? Because I know how difficult it is. Look, I teach in schools, and you know what makes it difficult? Before I teach them in after school sessions, they get snacks, and they'll get snacks of a Welch's. What are they called? Chewy candy, chewy things. Um, they'll get a Rice Krispies treat, and they'll get a Capri Sun. That's all sugar. It's all processed sugar that they get. Now I have to deal with kids that are off the wall, right? Off the wall. Now, like for example, the Capri Sun doesn't have added sugars and everything, but these are all pasteurized drinks, you know? So it's better to start with those. Definitely 100% juice Capri Sun or juicy juice or Tropicana over definitely over Kool-Aid. Come on, man. I drink gallons of that though. No Kool-Aid, okay? No Kool-Aid, okay? Sometimes the thing being cheap is because it is cheap. When you see cheap foods for the kids, you're like, wow, I could feed them and they'll be content if I get all this. It's got the cartoons that they like on it. Yo, he likes the devil because the devil gives him nothing. Please be aware. You were shopping through the 1 to 36. Gotta make some better decisions. Granola and milk, right, right, and the granola though, it at least has grains. To make granola, you've got to put sugar because that's how the granola binds. So the granola is like a treat of the oatmeal treat, but it's a good treat. It's better, and it depends what you get because some of those granola bars are really sugary, and of course the cow's milk is no good. But yeah, so God, like some schools they get the milk, and like some schools now they're where I'm at, the first school I'm at that I've been going to, that I go mainly to. This is the school I'm most at. Um, they don't have the regular after school lunch program yet, so they're just getting the kids Capri Suns and those treats. You know what I'm saying? But all of these things are just sugar treats. Especially like it's all sugar, and these kids love it, man. Yeah, yeah, chocolate or yeah, mucus factories. Yeah, mucus factories. You know. Granola's a better choice than in some schools I've seen. God, much better. You know. You know. And if you want to treat yourself, try to have better treats. Um, Instead of getting candy. Like if you're a grown man eating candy, you need to chill. Like seriously. Um, you need to really think about how you're dieting. Um, Dried fruits without any hydroxides, chemicals, right? Um, Trader Joe's has them cheap nuts and seeds. If you're gonna have a real treat, have a granola. Get some granola. You know what I mean? So at least you get the grains and you get nuts and seeds mixed in there, right? But be careful, because Trader Joe's is a funny store. It'll show you everything. Like they'll take something healthy, but then they'll make the most unhealthiest versions of everything that's selling you healthy. So they'll have a trail mix that's filled with candy along with nuts, seeds, and everything. You know, um, and so you could really go off the cuff there with that too. If you have a treat, if you have like potato chips or something like that, right? I say like this year, like what's it? Those I forgot what they're called. I like those. I like those chips that are like the mixture of they're like uh, taro chips yuca chips and all those things mixed together, you know, sweet potato chips, all when they mix them, that mix of those, you know what I mean? I always like those kind of mixes and stuff, you know. And I may have that treat. Let's say I'm gonna tell you how many bags I've had this year, because it's the only treat that I have that is like not really necessary and could be deemed unhealthy in some kind of way, right? Um, I've had 3 bags of those, you know, and I'm saying that now because I'm in the mood for a bag, right? But my treats are different nuts and seeds and dried fruit. Right. Malik, you said it seems that once something goes commercial in a grocery store is no longer used for good as it once was. Yeah, that's one thing too, man. A lot of healthy products, though, when they start selling in bigger bulk, their ingredients will change. Always be reading the ingredients again and again. Yeah. It has P.E.A.C.E. You remember, right? Hunts Point? Yeah. I went all the way out there, took a trip. Man, like I said, back in the days, that's not the neighborhood I'm from. You know, I was from Medina, and that's how you get the stories. I was going to different neighborhoods and going home late at night from these neighborhoods. Like I left that Hunts Point thing real late. I don't know nobody in the Bronx like that. I'm by myself. You know, I got these stories alone. You know, but it was a really, really great thing they had going there when they was going. I don't know how long it lasted, but it was really nice. You know. But Tats Crew, Crazy Legs, these are people that have always given back to the community. You know what I mean? I know that there are people that have issues with Crazy Legs, just like Crazy Legs has issues with other people, you know? But a lot of that is personal. That has nothing to do with the things that these guys have done in the community. You know, they've done great things and they deserve the kudos and the love that they get for that. You know, the flowers, right? As we say now. Okay, guys, I'm about to get off this thing in 3 minutes, though. Again, during the school year right now, I'll be here from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Okay. They give up plenty of time to get serious building in, and so I'm about to get off this thing now. Email me, contact me. If anything, if you have any comments, put them in the comment section and stuff like that. Let me know what you think about things, and we will build. We'll build. I'm not sure. I usually have the chat repeat itself so people can see the chat, but I'm not sure if I clicked on that correctly. So I'm not sure. But anything that anywhere that you communicate with me, I work to communicate back. All right. So until next week, we will build. Self-magnetic. I will find time to get out there. This weekend would have been good, but I just booked a show with Toshi. So I gotta figure it out though. Maybe we'll, I'm usually off when school's off. I'm off, so we'll find a day to do, because I do have one verse that I already wrote and yeah, we'll get that up. You know what I mean? But peace to everybody. All right, and build, create. See what you can do in your community. Start to research that. Peace.